high school teacher pulled me aside after history class and said, "You know where kids like you end up? Prison. That's your future. Kids like me, translation poor. Kids who worked nights at McDonald's and fell asleep in third period. Kids whose homework was late because they were helping their mom make rent. Kids who wore the same 3 shirts on rotation because that's all we had. Maybe I'll be a lawyer instead." I shot back. She actually laughed. Not a chuckle but a full contemptuous laugh. "You? A lawyer? You can't even turn in a paper on time. You think law schools want students who make excuses? They're not excuses if they're true. Life doesn't care about your truth, Maria. It cares about results, and your results say one thing. Future inmate." I walked out before she could see me cry. But that night after my shift I looked up law school requirements. Then I looked up successful lawyers from poor backgrounds. And I made a plan. That laugh followed me everywhere. Through 4 years of undergraduate state, where I studied in 24-hour laundromats because they were quiet and warm. Through LSAT prep books I bought used and highlighted with dyeing markers. Through law school, where I was the only one in my study group who'd never been to Europe, never had an unpaid internship, never had parents who knew someone. I graduated third in my class, passed the bar on the first try, got hired by the DA's office because they liked my perspective. Code 4. We need someone who actually understands the defendants. 12 years after Mrs. Barlow's prophecy, I was 3 years into prosecuting cases when the name popped up on my docket. Tyler Barlow. Armed robbery, second offense. The file was thick: surveillance footage, witness statements, and prints on the gun. Looking at 15 to 20, I didn't make the connection until I walked into the courtroom for the arraignment. There she was in the gallery, second row, gripping her purse like a life raft. Mrs. Barlow, looking 10 years older and terrified. Our eyes met. The recognition was instant. Her face went from pale to gray. She knew exactly who I was. I turned to my colleague. "I need to disclose something. The defendant's mother was my high school teacher. Good relationship. She told me I'd end up in prison." He whistled low. "Any actual conflict?" "She wasn't a fan of mine, but I can be objective. Your call, but if you keep it, do it clean." I kept the case. For 3 months she sat in that courtroom for every single hearing. Never said a word to me. During jury selection I caught her staring. During the opening arguments she was crying. When I presented the security footage of her son pointing a loaded .38 at a cashier's head, she covered her face. Tyler's defense attorney tried everything: troubled childhood, addiction issues, potential for rehabilitation. But the evidence was overwhelming. 3 liquor stores in 2 weeks. Escalating violence. A loaded weapon. The third cashier had a 4-year-old daughter at home. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. When they filed back in, Mrs. Barlow was gripping her son's girlfriend's hand. Guilty on all counts. At sentencing, Tyler's lawyer made one last plea for leniency. "He's young, Your Honor. He can change." I stood to give my recommendation. The state requests 18 years. The defendant showed escalating violence across 3 robberies. Trauma to the victims is severe. The cashier from the third robbery hasn't been able to return to work. The judge gave him 18 years, eligible for parole in 12. As the bailiff cuffed him, Tyler called out, "Mom, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." Mrs. Barlow stood up, wobbling. For a second I thought she might faint. Then she walked toward me. "Miss Rodriguez," she said, my name sounding foreign in her mouth. Could we talk? There's nothing to discuss. I need to apologize." "No, you don't. I was wrong about you. So wrong." I closed my briefcase with a sharp click. "You were wrong about a lot of things. You were right about one thing. Someone did end up in prison." Her hand flew to her mouth. "That's cruel." "Cruel? No. Cruel is telling a 15-year-old kid working herself to death that she's destined for prison. Cruel is crushing a child's dreams because you think you know their future." I gestured to the courtroom. "This is just consequences.